Hello everybody, I'm Acelegin. Happy Wednesday. So I have a bit of a special video this week. I would like to present you all something. This is almost every Yu-Gi-Oh deck that I own. And yes, I record all my videos from my bed if anyone was wondering. But yeah, this is almost all of my decks. There's one that I couldn't find and I searched all over my apartment for it. So I have no idea where my Dark Mist deck is. It's here somewhere though. I'll just have to look for it later. But yeah, you may be thinking to yourself, Jesus, Acelegin, that's a lot of decks. How many do you own? Here's the thing. I don't know. I stopped keeping track when I got to 50, and this was years ago. It easily could have doubled since then. But today, I'm going to get a definitive answer. I'm going to go through and count each one of these. And I might stop to talk about some of them a little bit, but that's what this video is going to be about. And I'm going to start at 1, because I know it's not in the pile, but my Dark Mist deck is here somewhere, so I'm counting it. But it's basically a deck that's all about swarming level 2 dark monsters so that I can go into specific Xyz monsters. But yeah, next I have my Blue Eyes deck. This is one of my oldest decks. So that's 2. But yeah, it's all about Blue Eyes cards. And I've also got a Red Eyes deck. They used to be the same deck, actually. I wanted a deck that was both Blue Eyes and Red Eyes themed, but eventually I ended up splitting them into 2 separate decks. So we are now at 3. Here's my Fire deck. It's kind of shit. It's all about just fire monsters and dealing burn damage and stuff like that. That's 4. And I have a Water deck. Similarly to my Blue Eyes and Red Eyes decks, these were once one deck. I had a Fire and Water deck, but then I split them in 2, and they're both shit. I think I'm going to have to rebuild these, make them a bit better, but we are now at 5. I'm keeping a tally here. This is my Amorphage deck. It's all about Earth Dragon-type Pendulum monsters. It's also got 1 Ritual monster in here. I generally keep like the deck's best card or one of its most prominent cards at the front of the deck. And it gets really annoying when I let other people use my decks and they don't put the cards back in place. So that, we're at 6 now. This is a fun deck. This is my Mill deck. It's basically built to force my opponent to deck out, which is when they run out of cards in their deck. That's a really interesting way of beating people in duels. It's also a bit of a insect-based power deck, sort of. But yeah, this is a fun deck to use. That brings me up to 7. Next is my Mask deck. It's a ritual-themed deck that has all kinds of mask-themed cards. And that will be deck 8. Real quick. I have to pay close attention to how long this video is running because my phone has very limited storage space, so I might have to take a break after a while so that I can back this up on my computer. Next, I've got another ritual-themed deck. This is my Cyber Angel deck. It's based on the cards used by Alexis Rhodes in the GX anime. 9. This is my Entity deck. It's based on deities of the Cthulhu mythos. There's 2 banned cards in this deck, so I can't actually use it in any tournaments. But that's fine. I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitively. It's just a hobby. Competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just bullshit nowadays anyway. So yeah, that's 10 decks. Next is a Cyber Dark Dragon. This is my Cyber Dark deck. It's about Cyber Dark monsters, which are machine monsters that can equip themselves with low-level dragons from the graveyard to increase their power. That's 11 decks. Oh yeah. This is just a pre-built structure deck I got. I forget what the deck itself is called, but its main card is Darkus Diabolus, Lord of the Lair. I never used this. I just bought it because it looked cool. But that's 12 decks. And I have my Performapal Sky Magician deck. It's based around the Performapal Sky Magician and a few other Performapal cards. So yeah, we're at 13 now. This is going to take a while. This is another pre-built structure deck that I edited a little bit. It's a Air Knight Parshath themed deck. That puts me at 14. Ooh, my zombie deck. This is one of my favorite decks, but it does need work. That's 15. I also have a 6 Samurai deck, which I never use. It's kind of a boring archetype, at least in my opinion. This is just a generic synchro deck. It's built primarily around level 2 monsters so that I can go into level 4 or synchro summons. That's 17. I also have my rock deck. It's also kind of shit and needs a lot of work. 18. I have this deck. Is a digital bug deck. It's all about light attribute insect type Xyz monsters. I got a lot of level 3 insects so that I can go into the main low rank Xyz monsters and rank them up into higher rank Xyz monsters. But yeah, that's deck 19. I also have an Earthbound Immortal deck. That brings me to 20. This is an Xyz themed deck that focuses on chaos numbers and chaos Xyz monsters specifically. This is 21. Yes, my Supreme King Zark deck. This deck is very difficult to actually use, but if I do get out its signature monster, it is really powerful. But the odds of actually pulling that off are difficult. I have a Phantom Knights deck. It's all about Xyz summoning. It also focuses a lot on Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon and his upgraded forms and shit like that. It's 23. I also have a Blackwing deck. It's mostly Blackwing, but I've also got a few wind attribute monsters in here so that it will function with Dark Cymorg in it. It's 24 decks. Yeah, this is another zombie deck. This is actually another pre-built structure deck. I actually bought this deck with the intention of deconstructing it and putting some of the cool zombies from this deck into my other zombie deck, but I haven't gotten around to doing that yet, mostly because my zombie deck's already full, so I'd have to decide on what cards I want to take out of it before I put new stuff in. That's 25. Next is my Lyraloose deck. This one also needs some work done. It's all about swarming out level 1 monsters so that I can bring out a really interesting Xyz monster, Lyraloose Assembled Nightingale. But yeah, I need to modify this deck a bit more so that it's a bit better about swarming the monsters I need to actually get that card out at its maximum potential. To take another drink. What are you doing, Mina? You're loud. So this is my Ancient Gear deck. It's Ancient Gear monsters. That's 27. This is my Warrior deck. It's all warriors. There are only warrior type monsters in this deck. It focuses a lot on synchro summoning as well as using equips cards. That's that deck. This is my spellcaster deck. One of several spellcaster decks I own, actually. This is one I haven't used in ages. So yeah, that's that. This is my Harpy deck. It's all about Harpies. It's also got a bit of synchro summoning and Xyz summoning in it. Yeah. And this here is my A to Z deck. It's all about some cards that were used by Kaiba, the XYZ monsters, and then they also added in a VW, and then also recently A, B, and C. So that's what this deck's about. It's all Union monsters and shit. That puts me up to 31. This here is my legendary dragon deck. It's based on the legendary dragons from the 4th season of the original series. Eye of Timaeus, Claw of Hermos, and Fang of Critias. And all of the fusion monsters that are related to them. This is my insect deck. It's another one that's kind of absolute shit. It's all just insect-type monsters with a bit of an emphasis on synchro summoning and tokens and shit like that. But it's not very good. Next up... Oh yeah. This is my Red Dragon Archfiend deck. This one doesn't play very well, but it has seen some success. I actually had a duel against C-Rad a long time ago. This was back when he still used Five-Headed Dragon. It was one of his favorite monsters, and it was difficult for me to take on because it's a very powerful boss monster that can't be destroyed in battle by most attributes, except for Light and Divine. So in order to actually defeat it in battle, you have to get out a really powerful Light attribute monster to take it on. But what ended up happening was he had gotten it out in that duel, and I got out Red Nova Dragon, who gets a power boost from all the tuners in my graveyard, and I had enough to power it up so that it was at the same attack power level as Five-Headed Dragon, and it also has an effect that lets it negate my opponent's attacks. Mina! So yeah, it also was a dark attribute, so it couldn't defeat his Five-Headed Dragon. So we were effectively at a stalemate for a while, and... Mina! The fuck are you doing? But yeah, that was an interesting duel. I eventually destroyed his Five-Headed Dragon with a card effect, at which point he just surrendered the duel. That's... yeah. Ooh, and this is my Mott deck. It's got a powerful card called Mott in it that lets you name 3 cards, then reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and if any of them are cards you named, you can add them to your hand and she gets a power boost. But I filled this deck with multiple cards that let me look at the top cards of my deck. That way her effect is way easier to actually use and exploit. So yeah, that's up to 35, and I'm actually going to take a quick break from the video, mostly because I've only got like 5 minutes left of space that I can record on my phone, so I've got to transfer that over, and also I need to figure out what the hell Mina is making, what the hell she's doing out there. So yeah, I will be right back. See ya. Okay guys, I'm back. My phone suddenly has like twice as much storage space as it did before. I don't know how that happened. But I took care of my cat. She was trying to get into one of my cabinets. I also just got off the phone with my sister, so she's going to be coming by in a minute. But I'm going to continue counting through all these decks. Let's see. This one here is my Galaxy Eyes deck. I have almost all of the Galaxy Eyes cards in here. The only one I don't have is the Link monster because I don't like Link monsters. I own exactly 2 decks that have Link monsters in them, and I just don't like it. Link monsters I do not agree with. Okay, that's deck 36. Next, I've got this deck. It's got a Seal of Orichalcos at the front. This is my Goblin deck. It focuses on cards like the Goblin Attack Force and stuff like that. It's an archetype of cards that switch to defense position anytime they attack, and then they get stuck that way for a little bit. This is a deck that's kind of built to work around that weakness by either switching them back using card effects or just locking them into attack position through like final attack orders or something. So yeah, that's what that deck's about. This is my, I already showed my Red Dragon Archfiend deck earlier, but I've also got a Stardust Dragon deck. It's focuses on the Stardust Dragon cards as well as the Junk Warrior Synchro monsters, as well as just some other level 5 Synchro monsters that help me go into shooting Quasar. Marking that down. And then I have my Malefic deck, which isn't very good because Malefic monsters kind of suck. There's only, they're a very gimmicky archetype that don't work very well unless you know what you're doing. Which I don't. I don't really play that deck often because I don't really have a lot of cards that can make the Malefic archetype work. This is my Evil Hero deck. It's a Fiend and Rock-based deck. It's got a lot of cards that help me bring out a Evil Hero Dark Gaia with as much attack power as I can possibly get him. But yeah, that's this deck. Add that to the tally, and I am up to 40 now. This here is my dinosaur deck. Pretty simple, it's just focuses on dinosaur type monsters. Next, this is my Speedroid deck. It focuses on the Speedroid archetype. It's all about synchro summoning.
I'm invading your house.
I can see that. What's up?
You already knew I was going to, so.
Right. Yeah.
Come here.
Did I already add you to the... I don't think so.
What's up, y'all? I got a mohawk.
Hmm.
You like my new haircut?
Cool.
So, oh, when I leave, I'm going to give you this mask because I've got 2 more exactly like it. I got a 5-pack.
Huh.
And it's a cloth mask, but with the wire thing up top, so it keeps your glasses from fogging real bad. But obviously you'll have to wash it before you use it.
Yeah.
How many packs you got through?
42.
Life, the universe, and everything, baby.
Yeah, so this is my Ojama deck. And as an Ojama deck, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, those little fat fuckers.
I know I've said a lot of my decks so far are shit. A lot of that's because I built these decks ages ago, and the game has advanced since then, and so they haven't aged very well.
I didn't actually mean that those little, what are they, Yojamas are actually fat. It just, I can't get the memory of those banana hammocks out of my mind, so I just... The fat
if you've never seen an
stupid.
Ojama monster, they're these weird little things that wear Speedos. This is my Monarch deck. It's all about tribute summoning powerful monsters that have effects that go off when they are tribute summoned.
Nerd.
Meh.
Sean moved to Pittsburgh, did I tell you?
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, that's our stepbrother. So he moved back down to Texas.
Yeah, he's got most of his shit up here still, though.
And this here is my Gimmick Puppet deck. It's all about going into rank 8 Xyz monsters. And similar to my Fire and Water decks and my Blue Eyes and Red Eyes decks, this was actually this and my Dark Mist deck, the one that I couldn't find earlier, were actually part of one deck, but I ended up splitting them into two because they worked out better that way.
Real quick, is that pile right there the pile of what you've done so far?
Yes.
The pile of what you haven't done is almost twice as big as that. No, it might be on par. I have a deck too, guys. Marshall gave them. I have two decks, right? He gave them both to me. I have a Blue Eyes Ultimate deck that he gave me. Isn't he so sweet?
Nerd. Oh, this is my Machina deck. It's how do I describe? Machina are all about like it's weird to explain, but they have like a few different boss monsters that focus on discarding cards to bring them out, or having fishing each other out, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into full detail on every deck because we'd be here all day if I did. Oh, here's my prophecy deck. It's not very good.
Maybe you should just like gank them all apart and resort.
Nah. Oh, well, this is a deck that I am actually planning to deconstruct at some point. This is it's a kind of mix of Fabled and Dark World with a bunch of other cards that get power boosts from having an empty hand, but this really isn't a very good deck, so I'm probably just going to take it apart and maybe build some other decks from its components. Ooh, here's my Raid Raptor deck. It's about Xyz summoning and ranking up. Wow. You guys can't see it. It's a joke about having to use like a shit ton of different adapters just to plug in one thing.
It says improvise, adapt, 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 overcome.
Hey, this is my Performapal deck. I'm not going to go into a bunch of shit about that. Ooh, my Hazy Flame deck. It's about bringing out a shit ton of level 6 fire monsters in order to Xyz summon their boss monster. This is my Bujin deck that I'd never use. It's all about Bujin monsters. Next up is my Cypher deck. It's kind of similar to my Galaxy Eyes deck, but it focuses on one of the Galaxy Eyes monsters in specifically. Yeah. My grammar's bad. Ooh, this is my Mermail deck. This was the deck I used in my first ever Acelegin Plays Yu-Gi-Oh video. And a fun fact, I actually misused the effect of whichever monster it was, if I can find him. Mermail Abyss Nose. Yeah, he has an effect that lets me special summon Mermail monsters from my deck, but I misread his effect, so I was summoning them in the face-down defense position instead of face-up. And also, I just assumed there was some kind of level limitation on his effect, so I just went with the low-level Mermails. But his effect easily could have helped me get out my higher-level Mermails. Abyss Megalo and Abyss Baleen, I think he's called. Yep, Abyss Baleen. So yeah, I won that duel and I wasn't even using my cards to their full potential. That was fun. Okay, my Heroic Champion deck. It's all about warriors. Ooh, this is my Brotherhood of the Fire Fist deck. The problem I have with the Brotherhood of the Fire Fist is that I can never remember any of their effects off the top of my head, so whenever I use this deck, I have to read every card to make sure I'm using them right. Ooh, this is actually two decks.
What?
Yeah, I kind of bandaged these together. But I've got a Toon deck, and I've got a deck that focuses on normal pendulum monsters.
I want you all to know that this deck situation is the entire reason Marshall has any reason to buy rubber bands. He has hair rubber bands, and then he has a million rubber bands. They're all on these decks.
Yeah.
You have a bag of rubber bands right there. Why don't you replace your hair ties with bands?
I'll get around to that eventually, but the thing is that the hair bands actually work way better than rubber bands. Because these rubber bands, the material they're made of, if you're not careful or don't keep them in the right temperature, they will melt and damage the cards.
That happened to a coin.
Yeah. But yeah, I just found that bag of rubber bands. It was missing for a long time. But I uncovered it while searching for that one deck that I'm not sure where it is. But yeah, this is my super heavy samurai deck. They're an archetype that works its best if you exclusively use monster cards in your deck and don't use any spell or traps. And it's also a very synchro monster focused archetype. And this here is my Frightfur deck. It's got 3 different archetypes that all work together. There's Edge Imps, which are these weird tool-based fiends. Then there's the Fluffles, which are these adorable little stuffed animals. And they fuse together to create Frightfur monsters, which are kind of a mixture of fiendish stuffed animals.
Oh, this looks like a hella possessed marionette right there.
Yes, dangerous Frightfur Nightmare. Yeah.
Oh, that one looks horrifying too. There's another copy of that. That one looks terrifying. That one is awful. Where are the cute ones? What the fuck?
All the fusion monsters are terrifying, but the Fluffle monsters are a bit more adorable.
I'm gonna find one. Oh, I mean, this one has sharp blades on it, so. Polymerization. Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
so this
cute.
is my Black Rose Dragon deck. It focuses on plant monsters. It also has a bit of it's got a bunch of trap tricks in here. They function well with the whole series of the trap hole series of normal trap cards. It's also got a lot of level 7 plants that help me go into bringing out Rosaria, the Stately Fallen Angel. I'm considering taking all of the trap trick cards out of this deck and then just building a trap trick deck. But I'll deal with that later. Gravekeeper deck. Cyber Dragon deck. I should talk a bit more about the Cyber Dragon deck. It's got a lot of Xyz and fusion monsters. I need to fix this deck a bit because I use the Robo Lady and Robo Yarrow cards, but they're kind of useless, so I'm probably going to take those out and replace them with something a bit better. But yeah, this deck, I use a Galaxy Queen's Light in this deck because this deck can really easily get out level 10 and level 9 monsters. So then I just use Galaxy Queen's Light to make everything else I control the same level. Then I can go into really high-ranked Xyz monsters like a Super Dimensional Robot Galaxy Destroyer or number 92 Hard Earth Dragon. So yeah, this deck, I need to work on it a lot, but it does have some potentially really powerful monsters. Here's my Melodious deck. It's all about...
You've been making the good tallies?
Yes. So yeah, it's all about music-themed fairies. I've also got a little bit of Synchro and Xyz potential in here. I got a Fairy Cheer Girl and an Avenging Knight Parshath. But it's mostly about fusion summoning. This is my Crystal Beast deck. My Rainbow Dark Dragon deck. This is actually the C-Rad's current boss monster in the deck he runs.
That nerd.
Yeah, it's all about getting a shit ton of dark attribute monsters into your graveyard, then banishing them to bring this guy out, and then banishing more of them to power him up to absurd levels. Okay.
What size is your bed?
It's a queen.
Okay. Do you only have the one set of sheets?
Yes.
You need to get some more sheets.
This is my cubic deck. It's the deck used by the antagonist of the Dark Side of Dimensions movie. It's kind of a crappy archetype, but it's got a... They've been releasing more support for it, so I might fix the deck up a bit more and try and make it better. This is my Fiend deck. This was the second deck I ever built. I've improved it a lot over the years, but...
Wait. From when I was like 10 and you were 13?
Yes.
You have that still?
Yes.
Oh my god.
It's all about, like, Fiend monsters, especially Dark Ruler Hades and Summon Skull. It also has a lot of emphasis on banishment.
You have Summon Skull? Oh my god.
But yeah, I've been considering fixing this deck to maybe take out the banishing stuff and just build those into another deck that can actually use them a bit better.
Guys, I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Too way back in the day. I traded most of my Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards away for Digimon cards. Talk about a bad trade. I don't even have them anymore. You told me not to, Marshall. You did. I wanted Where Garurumon, damn it.
Ooh! It's my furry deck. It's a Lunalite monsters. Lunalite monsters are a series of animal-themed women who focus on fusion summoning. And this is my Abyss Actor deck. It's all about Fiend-type pendulum monsters. And we are now at 70, it looks like. And we still have quite a ways to go. I'm not sure if I'm angling that very well. This is going to be a long video. This is my Mecha Phantom Beast deck.
You know you can split it up, right?
I know. But I'm not going to. It's all going to be one great big video. My Mecha Phantom Beasts are all about summoning tokens that increase their level so that they can go into really high-ranked Xyz monsters.
You only have about 18 minutes left of memory on your phone.
I know. This is the second chunk of this video I'm recording. I already had to...
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah, I already had to take a break so that I could transfer shit over. But you actually called me in the middle of...
Oh, it would have been funny to have it on the video.
Yeah. This is my Battling Boxer deck.
I wondered why it took so long for you to answer. Thought maybe you were out walking. Like a nerd.
This is another just generic synchro deck. It focuses on like the
Excuse me.
Junk Warrior, Nitro Warrior, Turbo Warrior, those guys. Yeah, my phone suddenly has like a lot more storage space and I have no idea why. Oh yeah, this is my Triple D deck. This was the archetype used by one of the main characters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. This deck isn't that great. It focuses on pendulum summoning and then as well as fusion, synchro, and Xyz summoning. But it's kind of tricky to use, but it does have some really powerful search engines in it, which make it a bit more... It's alright, but kind of tricky to use and doesn't always work well. Ooh, this is my Flint deck. It's all about the Flint equip spell card, as well as its support cards, Flintlock and Flint Missile. It focuses on equip cards that are used to down or restrict your opponent's monsters and weaken them. Ooh, my Acid Golem deck. Acid Golem's kind of a shit card because during each of my standby phases, I have to detach one of his Xyz materials. Otherwise, I take a ton of damage, and he also locks me out of special summoning other monsters. And it can't attack if it lacks Xyz material. So this deck is actually built around covering all those weaknesses by either keeping him stocked up on Xyz materials by adding more to him, or by equipping him with Axe of Fools, which gives him a power boost and negates his effects so that they don't become problematic. And worst case scenario, I have ways of destroying him myself if he becomes a problem for me. Next up, this is just a generic Xyz deck that focuses on bringing out rank 5 monsters.
Hey, I know what's up next after this.
What?
Nerd shit.
And this is my reptile deck. The way this deck works is it uses 3 copies of King of the Feral Imp, along with a bunch of Kage Tokages and Gentlemanders, and I basically use him to, he has an effect that lets me detach his Xyz materials to add reptiles from my deck to my hand. So I keep doing that until I have just filled my graveyard up with reptiles, and then I bring out Phenomenon, the King of Poisonous Snakes, who gets a power boost based on the number of reptiles in my graveyard. So yeah, that deck's all about that strategy, which can take a while, but it gets me out a really powerful monster when I do. This is my beast deck.
Sounds like more furry shit.
No, not really. This is just actual beasts.
I mean, that was a joke, but okay.
Yeah, it's not a great deck, but it's taking some damage. Most of Fenian the Great Sphinx's name has been rubbed away.
Yep. The gold part's been rubbed away, but you can still see where it was imprinted.
This is my other Blue Eyes deck. It focuses on the Azuri's Silver Dragon.
What do you have to do to get that?
Oh, it's a synchro monster. It came in a structure deck they released a long time ago.
You stole this pen from work, Marshall, I can tell. It's the kind of pens we have at work.
Okay, this is my fairy deck. It's, how do I describe it? It's got a lot of draw ability to it.
It's full of twinkly bullshit.
Yes.
I was right. Oh my
god. This is my Nordic and Acer deck. Acer, however it's pronounced.
Let me see it.
It's based on the gods and stuff of
It might be
Norse
Oser.
mythology.
Sometimes AE like that is O. You know what I mean?
Is it like that in Norse language? Or Norwegian?
Dude, Norwegian, Scandinavian, they got some crazy ass rules. You can never tell.
Okay, this is my Fortune Fairy deck. It's all about
That would be actually really funny. Oh, so.
it's about a bunch of really easy to summon but really weak monsters that have a specific continuous spell that powers them up. Okay, this is my heavy-duty Xyz deck. It's got, this is the first Xyz deck I ever built. It focuses a lot on swarm tactics and level adjustment so that I can go into a bunch of different ranks of Xyz monsters.
Have you come across your special deck from that special binder you got for Christmas that year with the Ancient God cards?
No. I actually deconstructed all those decks to improve my other decks.
Okay.
Alright, this is just a deck that focuses on a Dark Magician and Buster Blader and all the different fusion and synchro stuff they've got going.
Dark Magician, more like Dark Dork, am I right?
This is another structure deck I got a long time ago, or actually pretty recently. It's the Shadow deck, and this is one of the only 2 decks I mentioned that has Link monsters in it, and the Link monster isn't even necessary. Like, the deck plays really great even without it.
I would like to say to the people that, Marshall, tilt the camera towards me. That, I used to genuinely enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! And while I have fallen out, I did used to play it with Marshall. I was his main opponent before he was friends with Conrad.
Yeah.
But I fell out of it. So all these little comments I'm making, while they seem snide, they're made with love. I'm just joking.
Wait. Okay, this is my gin deck.
You can't drink. 4Kids said it's hot sauce. Call back to Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Yeah. Yeah, this deck is all about going into rank 3 and 4 Xyz monsters, specifically the Jin archetype, who all have ways of supporting each other.
J-I-N?
Like DJIN, yes.
Oh, okay.
And since I have... It's so easy for me to go into multiple Xyz summons of the same rank, I also decided to put a copy of Future Number 0 Utopic Future in here, just in case I can ever get him out.
You know, genuinely, that was a good episode. I don't care. I think it was actually really funny that it was hot sauce, kind of like the whole donuts joke. It made the episode 10 times funnier because even as a child, you understood that they were just wasted. Drunk and fighting at its finest through a card game.
Yep. This is my ninja deck. I actually have a bunch of new ninjas I got that I kind of want to put in there, but...
Yeah, sort it. It's probably at cap anyway.
Yeah. Ooh, and this is my elemental hero deck. It has not aged all too great. But...
That's like the original, too.
Yeah.
You added the stuff that came later, but like he had the original elemental heroes deck.
Sorry, I have pop-ups that keep showing up on my computer. Got a taste of those in my Pottermore videos, but they are fucking annoying.
Oh my god, the elemental heroes were great. That was around the time I stopped playing, like after that. I remember being so psyched for GX and getting all those elemental heroes. And, hold on, I'm gonna pick up your phone. Tilt it at me. So the last duel me and Marshall ever seriously had that didn't involve like didn't involve Conrad. This was right before he became friends with C-Rad. So we just gotten a bunch of booster packs for GX. It was brand new, you know, and that's how you know we're old. It was so funny because we'd get the packs and we'd open them and we'd go through them and then we'd like set some cards aside that we would be willing to trade because we didn't have anything that worked with them, and then we just like barter back and forth, like I'll trade you this card for those two, blah blah. And then we built our decks and then we dueled each other. And it was so great because he had what was it? Transcendent Wings. He had Transcendent Wings. And I traded him 2 pretty okay cards for it because he didn't have Little Karibo or level 10 Winged Karibo. I'm sorry, Winged Karibo. And I was like, I just love this card. It's so pretty. And if you have seen the card, it is stylistically pleasing. Especially for one of those older cards.
Oh yeah, I have all those cards in my fairy deck. I forgot about that.
Well, yeah, I eventually gave them to you. But I traded him for Transcendent Wings because he couldn't use it. And then I pulled this whammy on him. I can't believe I was actually able to use it the first time I used that deck. I had Winged Karibo and level 10 Winged Karibo in one of the packs I got, and I just hid them so he couldn't see them. And I just totally demolished him. That was the last time I won, too. He was just like, oh, you fucker. Keep in mind, I was like 12 and he was like 15. He was like, you motherfucker. You hid that from me. I'm like, bitch, of course I did. You would have wanted it. You had Transcendent Wings and I needed it. And getting that many packs at a time was like a huge treat for us at the time. And that was, to date, my best duel I've ever done, and it just involved all sorts of trickery. That didn't actually, like, involve, like, cutting the deck or cheating that way. It was just literally, I fooled him into thinking I didn't have, I made this big deal of getting upset because I didn't get Winged Karibo or level 10 Winged Karibo because I wanted the set because they looked so cool. I made a big deal about not finding them in my starter packs. Oh, he was so mad. He bought a hook, line, and sinker. Oh, it was great.
All right, I have good news. We are getting towards the end. Oh yeah, this is my psychic deck. Unlike a lot of these, it needs work, but it's all about psychic type monsters, which weren't introduced until 5Ds. Up until then, there were only 20 monster types plus the god cards.
They have 20 now? Well, according to what you said, they have more.
Oh, well, they started with 20, but
Oh,
since
okay.
then
I
they've
just I don't
added
remember.
they've added psychic types, they've added worm types, and the latest type is cybers, which I think is just dumb.
Why couldn't they just say like mechas or something?
I don't know.
They've already had robots for like a while. Remember the teacher dude in GX? His whole thing was like robots and shit, wasn't it?
Crowley, yeah, he had the ancient gears.
Yeah.
This is my Egyptian god deck. I've got
Woo!
all of the Egyptian gods in here, but it's not very easy to play.
And it's also illegal in tournaments.
Well, not anymore. They released
less
playable. They released playable versions that are nerfed from how they were in the show.
They're not OP. Well, I mean, most of the cards were never exactly like they were in the show anyway. Like that slime fucker that one dude played with the.
Oh
dog
yeah,
card.
the revival jam.
He does not work the same, even in the games, except for the other dude.
Yeah.
It's a bullshit.
So this is my Predaplant deck. It's all about a dark attribute plant monsters that have a heavy emphasis on fusion summoning.
Oh my god, Marshall, we're nerds. We played a video game about card games. It's like the basis, not even like a side game like in Final Fantasy VIII.
Yep. Oh yeah, this is my Amazonis deck. Also needs work, but they recently released some fusion monsters for the archetype, so I just had to get on board with that. Okay, this is my Archfiend deck. It kind of sucks. It's also
That's your most quoted line of the day. It kind of sucks, but
yeah. I built this deck a while back, but then I just left it in a stack with a bunch of other cards, and I only managed to dig it out recently, and I seem to have lost a bunch of cards that used to be in it. So I really need to
sort that shit.
yeah, I need to fix that deck.
I've been on him to organize his cards, like not just into decks, but his whole trunk too.
Dynomist deck, water attribute machine type pendulum monsters, all level 4 and 5 with scales of 3 and 6.
Well, that was a mouthful.
Yeah, well, you never learned pendulum summoning like I did.
Yeah, I stopped playing after
Oh yeah,
halfway through GX.
I showed her a pendulum monster once. You were just like, oh, fuck that.
I vaguely remember that.
This is my Destiny Hero deck. It's mostly Destiny Hero. I also use most of the Masked Heroes in this, as well as some of the Vision Heroes, and just a handful of the better Elemental Heroes.
That was fun. I remember seeing stuff about that, but not being able to really wrap my head around it. I wasn't trying very hard, mind you. I was already phasing out.
Oh yeah, this is my main Pendulum deck. It focuses on a lot of the cards used by Yuya Sakaki in the Arc 5 series. I've got all of the dimensional dragons in this deck, and it does not play very well.
It's also definitely a cap. It's a fat stack.
Oh yeah.
Let me see that. I'll start counting.
Okay. This is another 2 decks. One of them is my Magician Girl deck. It's all about the Dark Magician Girl and various Magician Girls they released with the Dark Side of Dimensions movie. It's also got the Quintet Magician in here.
Give me the pen. Mark it off.
Quintet Magician
You
is
don't
the
have that one
spell.
marked off yet, right?
No.
Okay.
Quintet Magician is the spellcaster equivalent of the 5-headed dragon.
Is that red box done yet?
No.
Ooh, I know exactly what number this is going to be, and it's hilarious. It's not 69.
Okay, this is my Endymion deck. Endymion, I have no idea how it's pronounced, but way back in the GX era.
Let me see the word. And yeah, I think you said it right. Endymion.
Yeah, they
Endymion.
released a boss monster for the spellcasters called Endymion, the Master Magician, who had his own field spell, Magical Citadel of Endymion. And then they recently released a new structure deck that had a lot of support for him. And so I got that. I got a bunch, and I tweaked it a lot. And like I said, I only own 2 decks that use link monsters. This is one of them.
You need to wash this.
Oh, my Sylveon? Was it on the floor again?
No, it was right there, but she's kind of dirty on her streamers.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Last deck, and then I will reveal the number. If any of you have been keeping count, you can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. I'll double count just now.
Now, I am actually going to take a quick break before I get into this deck because I have a lot to say about it. But yeah, I need to clear out some room on my camera again. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and we finally come to my main. This is the first deck I ever constructed. It has gone through significant changes over the years, but it's...
Dude, you built your first deck when you were like 10 and a half.
Yep.
How old does that make this original part of this deck?
That makes this deck like 19 years old.
You're old as fuck.
I don't have my original Dark Magician in this deck. I did have it in there for a very long time, but I ended up taking it out, putting it in multiple card sleeves, and then hiding it away in one of my tins for safekeeping.
Do you even know which tin it's in still?
Not off the top of my head. But yeah, this deck...
Check that motherfucker.
It focuses a lot on spellcasters and fairy-type monsters, particularly Dark Magician. It's got a lot of focus on both light and dark attributes. Which one?
Yeah, that. It's a pig.
Oh yeah, that's my Buten. This deck has potential for fusion, synchro, and Xyz summoning. I've got 6 synchros, 6 fusions, and 3 Xyz. It's also got a bunch of tokens. I got all of the sheeps.
Oh.
And I got Yugi.
Let me see. Aww.
Yeah. This deck, it's got a lot of pretty good synchro monsters like Power Tool Dragon, Dark and Light End, Gaia Knight. For Xyz, I have number 39 Utopia, Ebon Illusion Magician, and Wind Up Zen mains. For fusions, I've got Dark Cavalry, Dragon Knight, Draco Equus, First of the Dragon, Saint Joan, Dark Flare Knight, and Flame Swordsman. Man, it took me forever to get Flame Swordsman and Mirage Knight.
That's a Joey card, isn't it? Flame Swordsman?
Yes. Dark Flare Knight and Mirage Knight were used in a tag duel by fusing Dark Magician and Flame Swordsman together.
Aww. That's nothing.
But yeah, a major theme of this deck is, I already mentioned a little bit ago, that my friend Conrad used to be really in to playing with Five-Headed Dragon. And that was problematic because I had a hard time getting over that obstacle until I figured out some tricks. Tricks which this deck has several of. So the big weakness, the first one I figured out for Five-Headed Dragon, was just beating it over with a light monster. So any of the light monsters in this deck combined with Rairyoku are enough to bring down Five-Headed Dragon. And then eventually I figured out Five-Headed Dragon can be destroyed with card effects. So yeah, I started packing in a lot of monster destruction abilities into this deck so that would be a lot easier. So this was a deck I constructed to screw over my friend's favorite monster.
Nice. Are you ready for the big reveal of the number of decks you currently have made?
Yeah, I'm gonna recount these all after we're done recording just to make sure I didn't forget to tally any of them or accidentally tally them twice or anything along those lines. But future me, just confirm with like some text if we got it right.
Here's the tallies. Pull it out of my hand.
99!
Told you it was hilarious.
I said at the beginning of this video that it easily could have doubled since I stopped counting at 50. Nope! It fell one short. I need to build another deck. Thank you. No, I can't do the outro yet. I have to do a bean.
They're right here. Here, let me spin the spinner for you.
Okay.
Say can't cheat. Okay. That's a good spin. Ooh, berry bluer toothpaste.
Yay! My favorite.
Yeah, I didn't want to spin more than like half a rotation on those other ones.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love toasted marshmallow. Toasted marshmallow, buttered popcorn, chocolate pudding, tutti frutti, watermelon. Are all like my top faves. I do enjoy the blueberry and cherry ones as well.
All right. So yeah, I have successfully counted all of my decks.
Wait, which one did you get? Berry blue or toothpaste?
Toothpaste.
Oh, okay. It's not so bad.
But future me makes sure to double check that we got that right. But anyway,
Insert flashing number.
thank you all for watching.
Peace
Peace
out.
out.